All right, welcome everyone. We're going to get started here now. Thank you for joining us. So we are here representing the American Watchmakers and Clockmakers Institute. We're presenting this webinar as a service to the watch repair and service community. AWCI's mission statement is setting service standards and educating the horological community. So we are providing this webinar as an opportunity to fulfill our mission. At the end of this webinar, we will send you a quick survey. We hope that you take a moment to fill that out and participate so we can help revise and help improve our webinars for future dates. Also give us feedback on what you felt was most relevant and what helps you out the most. So today, we're going to talk about procedures you should follow to maintain your own security, as well as the security of your employees, your customers, and their watches, or jewelry if you have jewelry as well. So before we get into the topic, I want to take a moment and introduce the panel we have for you today. We have three 21st century certified watchmakers. We have Drew Zimmerman. He's a third-generation watchmaker and the vice president of the American Watchmakers and Clockmakers Institute, or AWCI. He's the owner of Zimmerman Watch Repair in York, Pennsylvania, and has been working in the watch and jewelry business for more than 10 years. We have Jordan Ficklin with us. He's the executive director of AWCI. He's a first-generation watchmaker. He's been working in the jewelry industry since 2001 and has served in many roles, including everything from jewelry and watch sales to head watchmaker. My name is Aaron Rexick. I'm a fourth-generation horologist, and I'm the secretary of AWCI. I work at a family-owned watch and clock business in Salt Lake City, Utah, and I've been working in the watch and clock business since 2002. So we'd like to take also a moment to thank our sponsors of this webinar, Jules Burrell and Castor Company. They are great suppliers of watch and jewelry material as well as tools. We encourage you to check them out if you're not familiar with them already. So we're going to get started with some of the topics of the webinar here. Jordan's gonna start us off, and I hope everyone is able to take notes and enjoy the webinar. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron, for that introduction and getting us going on this very important topic. So as Aaron mentioned, we're going to be talking about workshop security today. First, we're going to talk about protecting ourselves, our staff, and our customers. And then we're going to talk about protecting our merchandise from loss, and a little bit about what to do if we find ourselves in that situation where we are involved in a burglary or a robbery. First, protecting yourself. You work in an industry that is the constant target of criminals. Because of the high dollar value of watches and jewelry, it's important for you to keep security concerns at the front of your mind at all times. If you don't know someone in the trade who has been the victim of a burglary or robbery, you're probably a rare exception in this industry. So we're going to start things off here just with a quick little question for everyone. And the question we've got for you is this one. Have you ever been the victim of a burglary or robbery? So I'm going to go ahead and launch this poll for you. So if you would all take just a minute to go ahead and respond to the question that should have popped up on your screen. We'll give everyone a couple minutes here to respond, and then we'll share the answers with everyone. All right, so there's still a couple people who haven't participated in the poll yet. If you could take just a quick second to respond there, then we'll go ahead and close out this poll and share it. All right, we're going to go ahead and close this out now. All right, we've got a group of people with us today who clearly are already doing smart things to protect themselves because none of you have been the victim of a burglary or robbery. I hope that continues to be the case for all of you. and following the procedures we're going to outline today will continue to put you on the right side of that formula there. I know multiple people in the industry who've been robbed or burglarized. The store I worked at had been burglarized at one point. It's an unfortunate situation, but there's lots of things you can do to protect yourself against that and to prevent catastrophic loss in that kind of event. So first of all, you and your staff are most vulnerable at opening and closing times. So it's very important that you be vigilant at those times. At these times, the doors are open. It's obvious to the criminals who would have the alarm codes or the safe combinations. The merchandise is already packed up and ready to carry away. And that unknown factor of customers are out of the picture. And so you got to be super vigilant at those times of the day to be sure that you protect yourself. So we're going to run through what is really a pretty long list here of ways that you can reduce the risk of robbery. Ask you to just stay patient with us. The list is long, but each item is important and can contribute to your ability to keep yourself safe, the merchandise safe, the customers and your employees safe. The first one, vary your route to and from the store or your workshop. Keep an eye in your mirror. Make sure you're not being followed. It's possible for somebody to follow you, get you where you're alone, then they can hijack your car, something like that, get you back to the store with your keys and alarm code, and have you open up the building so that they can perform a burglary at that point. Never open or close the store alone. While one employee locks or unlocks the door, a second employee should watch from a safe distance that still gives them a good view of the door, and that second person should have a cell phone with them to call the police if something were to occur. So that person can go out a few minutes before you're ready to lock up everything, maybe walk around the building, make sure that there's nobody lingering, nothing suspicious going on, come around if everything is good, give some kind of a signal to let you know everything's good, and then they can stand observant from outside as you lock up everything. It's often that you have your back, to the street when you're facing the door locking up things, and they can be a second set of eyes for you. Be observant. If there's a person or a car loitering by the building, if the doors or windows appear to be tampered with when you show up, stay out of sight, call the police. It's possible there's still somebody in the building if it's got tampered with, or that person may be, waiting to do something. Rather than confronting them or risking a dangerous situation, it's best just to go ahead and call the police and get them to help you out with that. Never let anyone enter the store before you've opened officially or after you've closed for the day. It's just not worth the risk. Even if it has the potential of being a big sale, it's possible this person is a criminal and you're very vulnerable at that time. Let them come back the next day, work with them during your regular business hours. So also it's important to make sure that delivery drivers are who they say they are. So you probably have delivery drivers because they're there quite often, they're regulars, but every once in a while you've got a substitute driver. It's good to check their identification. They should be driving a marked vehicle, they should have a uniform on, and they should also have an ID with them. If they were going to fake being a driver, it's really easy to get your hands on a uniform. A little harder to have the ID in the vehicle. So the combination of all those three things gives you confidence that this person actually is a delivery driver, not somebody trying to get in. That's especially important if they're trying to make, say, an early morning delivery before you've opened up the door. If it's not the regular driver you recognize, again, have them come back during business hours. You might consider using a buzzer system, a doorbell or a chime. It doesn't necessarily have to be, the kind of system where the door is locked and you buzz them in, but there needs to be some way to alert people in the store that somebody's coming in the front door. So even if you've got several salespeople, they can all be tied up and busy and they may not pay attention to the door open and somebody came in, and you always want to know when somebody enters or leaves your business. You want to pay attention to that. Always have at least 2 employees. 3 is better on a sales floor at all times, or in your reception area if you just do service only. The chance of armed robbery goes up significantly when there's only one person for the criminal to deal with. So if at all possible, multiple people, whenever there's a customer, really helps out the situation. Maybe if you've got one person out there and you hear that bell ring, a second person can come out. They're then available if somebody else comes in to help immediately, and they're there to pay attention and observe the situation as well. Train all of your associates on how to spot and respond to suspicious people and behavior. Now, this can be difficult to learn and identify, but your local police department can really help you out here. They've got a public relations officer or somebody who would be happy to come out to your business to talk to you about some common scams or criminal activity, and to help you know how to identify somebody who might be up to no good. Vary your routine. Not just the way, we talked, the first point was the way you come to work and leave. Don't always take the same roads. But even throughout the day, have your employees take breaks at different times. So a would-be robber doesn't have the schedule memorized, doesn't know exactly when the store might be the most likely staffed, or when people are coming and going, and they can meet them and attack them. You want to be sure that that routine is varied. Anytime anyone comes in your store, look at them, greet them, engage with them, keep an eye on them. If they appear suspicious, you can always politely comment on what they're wearing so that they know that you're paying attention, and you could give a description to the police, right? So, oh, that's a beautiful green blouse you've got on. Oh, what an interesting tattoo. Can tell me all about that. Lots of things you can just, pay attention to. To the customer who's not up to no good, it's just going to seem like you're paying attention, that you're observant, that you're giving them 100% of your attention and want to help them out. And to the guy who's up to no good, he's going to go, whoa, these guys are super observant. I think maybe I'll move on to the next place. Groups. Groups can always be tricky. Keep a close watch on a group that comes in together, especially if they come in at a strange hour, or if they seem to be communicating with each other discreetly. Obviously, it's wonderful when somebody comes in with their friend and they're talking about the watches and they're sharing them with each other. But when a big group of people come in, you want to be able to give all of them your attention. So that's a great time to have more salespeople available to focus on the entire group. Robbers often visit a target ahead of time to case out the joint, to pay attention to things so that they know what to expect when they come back and perform a robbery or a burglary, either one. So pay special attention when you see somebody who seems to be paying more attention to the building and the details of the premises or to staff procedures than they are actually interested in the merchandise itself, right? Somebody in your store shouldn't be looking up at all the corners and the walls. They should be attracted to what's in your showcases or speaking to you as a salesperson. And so that can be a red light. Doesn't mean they're up to no good, but it's something to pay attention to. Keep an eye out for people hanging out outside of your business, especially if they're, say just across the street and they just seem to be hanging out there all day watching your business. That's a sign of somebody paying attention. Or maybe you've got a vehicle that's a getaway car or something outside. You want to pay attention to any kind of vehicles. If they're hanging out in your parking lot but not doing business with you, that's somewhat suspicious, and so you want to pay close attention to that. And when you do notice something suspicious, you should have a logbook where you can record those incidents, right? Whether anything becomes of it or not, write down all the details that you've got. Times, dates, description of the people, what they were wearing, cars, license plate numbers. If somebody suspicious comes in, they don't do any business with you and they leave, if there's a way that you can possibly get out and take a note of how they arrived or how they left, what the vehicle was, license plate numbers, without drawing attention to yourself, it's good to keep that information. Maybe you were doing everything right and they decided your business was not a good target and they're going to head down the street to the next guy and commit a crime there. The information you've got can prove useful to police when you learn of that. Or if they return later, you may find yourself so nervous if they're trying to, say, do an armed robbery that you may not get all these descriptions, but you may go, I've seen this guy before, and you can go to that logbook and bring up those details. Be proactive. Reach out to your local police department so you know who to contact when you've see suspicious behavior. Build a relationship there. Reach out to other businesses in your area. I know that sometimes local Jewelers Alliance will have an email blast that you can go out when you see suspicious activity. Keep others in the business, other businesses around, also apprised of any kind of suspicious behavior that you see. A surveillance camera. Everyone should have cameras recording what's going on in the store. It protects you, and it can help prevent all kinds of situations. So a camera system is not terribly expensive today. You should have a combination of cameras that are right in front of things, obvious. Everyone's going to see that and know that you've got a security system, and some that are concealed that aren't so obvious. That way, if they come in and they'll destroy the cameras, they may miss the concealed ones, and you can still get a recording of what's going on. And you also should consider possibly having a second recording device off-site or in the cloud so that they can't just simply walk out with the recording you've got. Your cameras don't do you any good unless you're able to record and look back on what they've been able to capture. Today, it's really easy to get reinforced glass that may have a film on it or is special glass that can really resist a smash and grab type event. This is good for the display cases, but also for the front of your building for after hours. If somebody tries to get in, you want to make it as difficult as possible for them. They may get that window smashed, but then realize they can't penetrate it because of the film or whatever that's on it, and they'll might move on to the next place. If they have to struggle to enter or leave the building, or to, they go to break the display case and they can't get in without cutting themselves up, they're not going to get away with the stuff. They're going to move on. Never leave valuable merchandise in your store window after you close for the day. When a thief looks in, or a potential thief looks in, they should see absolutely nothing of value. They should say, no point in my even breaking the window here. There's nothing for me to take. Right? Never show a shopper more than one item at a time. And pay attention, be observant. I mean, this is really, everything's about being observant here. Make sure that, keep them in your peripheral vision, even if you're going and grabbing something for them. Just keep an eye on them. You don't have to be suspicious about it or obvious about it. Just pay attention. And always lock the showcases, even if you're standing right there. You should have a showcase that you can lock without putting the key in, that it's easier to lock it than it is to keep it open. That way you open it, you get what is out, boom. You never know when you're going to be distracted. You're going to turn around to grab a pen. A really good thief can get in and out in a second with something, and you don't want to be the victim of that and then learn later you've got merchandise missing. Select a code word. You've got multiple people in your business. You need to have a way to discreetly alert other employees of suspicious behavior that won't alarm customers you might have in your store, because most of the time it doesn't amount to anything, and you don't want your customers to be all nervous, because you want them to be able to continue the experience that they're having and choose the watch that they want to take home with them, have a special experience. And so a nice little discrete code word, something that's related to your business, but you would never actually say, but doesn't appear to be alarming. So I think an example of something I throw out there is, you could say, hey, can you check and see if we have any Paragon diamonds, right? It's not a specific cut, it's not a color or brand necessarily, but to the consumer, they don't know that. It just sounds like you're looking for some kind of a diamond, but to your staff, something like that could know, hey, that's a possible code phrase. And that's not a code phrase that I've had in any business where I've ever worked. You don't want to share that with people other than the employees. You don't want people to know what that word is. If somebody is merely being suspicious but haven't committed a crime yet, obviously there's a potential customer and you don't want to upset them in any way. A couple of ways to deter what's going on is to use a cell phone, right? So maybe you've used the code word because you saw something suspicious, and another coworker says, okay, if they walk out the door while it looks like they're dialing on their cell phone, the average customer is not even going to notice. But a would-be criminal who's trying to be observant, who's paying attention to what's going on, they're going to notice that and probably move on, because they say, okay, these guys are already calling the police or whatever, I need to get out of here. When they go outside, they can use that phone also, click on the camera, and do a quick recording of the vehicles in the parking lot, license plate numbers, discreetly, so that if something were to occur, you've got that recording and you can use that information in your logbook. Another way is just to have somebody on the sales room floor looking at their phone where it could look like they were just checking out something on their phone, or maybe they're taking a picture or a video. Again, to the average regular old customer, they're not going to think anything of it. But to the would-be criminal who's nervous and vigilant, they're going to notice something like that and think twice about carrying out the crime. Whether he takes a video or not, whoever's outside the building can record descriptions of vehicles and that kind of stuff. All right, when you're merchandising your showcases, don't keep all your highest value items together in one display case. If they're scattered throughout the floor at some store, if somebody does do a smash and grab type robbery, they're typically going to get everything in one case. So if there's one high dollar item and a bunch of mid to low range dollar value items, it's not going to be as devastating to your business when they get out with those as if they were to break a case and had all of your highest, most expensive stuff in it and they got away with all of that. That can be really devastating. And also you might consider keeping some backstock of your pricier pieces in the safe so that they're not all on display. Limit that liability if something were to happen. Oops, so we're going to do another poll here for just a minute. I mentioned that keyword or phrase. So we're going to ask how many of you have a code word to alert employees of suspicious activity. So that question should pop up on your screen there. Take a minute to respond and let us know whether you have some kind of a key phrase or secret phrase keyword to alert people of suspicious behavior. We'll give you just a minute. All right, it's a quick, easy question. We're going to go ahead and close that out and share the results with all of you. It started out strong. The people who responded first seemed to all have some kind of a code word, and then the ones who responded last did not. So 40% of you are using some kind of a code word to alert people. If you've got multiple employees, you need to have some way to let them know suspicious behavior. You can do it over a intercom system, or just a simple question to another employee, some way to just key them in, be alert. Sometimes you want those people to come out and be a presence on where the customers are, so that they can see, oh, I'm not dealing with just one person here, I'm dealing with 3 or 4 people. This is more complicated. The burglar is looking for an opportunity, and when you take that opportunity away from them, they move on. All right, so got a few more tips here. This is all, some of it's very similar, but it's all important things. I'm sure most of you employ many of these things already, but the more tools you have in your toolbox that you can use, the less likely you'll be a victim of a crime. If somebody is inquiring about something of a particular value that's not on display, say maybe a collection of loose diamonds or something like that, they may be wanting to pay attention to see where you keep this stuff. They may be going, okay, let's find out where the safe is. It's not visible, but where's he going to go off to? All right, now I know where that is. So if they seem nervous or be acting kind of funny, it's okay to say, I don't have like that. Maybe I could get in for you another day if you want to set up an appointment or something. Come back and you can have those things ready to show them so you don't have to key that up. Most of the time it's perfectly okay to go back and do that, but certainly if you see something suspicious, you want to consider doing that. It's never worth the sale to expose yourself to a bad situation. If you have after-hours events or a trunk show where you bring in extra merchandise and the store is a little more crowded, it's a good idea to consider hiring an armed guard or an off-duty police officer or something to help out with security in a situation like that. They're trained to be vigilant, they know how to respond to a situation, and they're going to keep your customers safe. Especially in an after-hours event, they've purchased something, they're going back out to their car, you want to keep them safe. So you should have somebody who's able to walk them to their car or out in the parking lot paying attention so that you don't expose your customers to a terrible situation. Make sure that your store interior is clearly visible from the street. You want to limit the number of banners and signs and stuff you got on your front windows and the entryway and that kind of stuff so that you can pay attention to whether somebody is loitering outside, whether there's a car sitting out there. If you can't see out and pay attention to that stuff, it's a place for somebody to potentially lay in wait, right? And so you want to be able to see that stuff clearly. No one wants to think about the unpleasant situation, but you should definitely have a plan of action in place so everyone knows what to do if somebody attempts to rob the store. You know, an armed robbery, somebody pulls a gun, everybody should know exactly what to do in that kind of situation and have a plan in place. Aaron's going to talk about some of those things in a few minutes, so we'll come back to that for sure. Keep a list of contact information near the phone. When something does occur, you might find yourself quite nervous. It's hard to believe that you would forget some of these numbers. They should all be written down next to a phone so that you can reach out to and get the help that you need. All right, I'm going to let Aaron come back and join us, and he's going to talk a little bit here about this next topic.
Thank you, Jordan. All right, so a lot of good information there. Sorry these lists are so long, but there's a lot of finite points that we want to get to. So what I'm going to touch on now a little bit is in the unfortunate event that you are the victim of a crime, whether it had passed or it's in process, here are some of the things that you can do to minimize danger and to hopefully end up on the positive end of things once it's completed. So if you're in the state of a current robbery and somebody is there, you want to do what the robbers tell you and try not to panic. Not panicking is probably one of the most important things, because there's a bunch of items here on this list, as you'll hear in a second, that have to do with being observant. Obviously, that's not always possible if you're panicking, but that can really benefit you by just being observant and paying attention to what's going on around you. So your life and the life of your employees and customers are more important than your merchandise, obviously. So you want to keep that in mind, and everything that you have in the store can be replaced, but the people and the lives cannot. So you don't really want to do anything to challenge the robbers verbally or physically, such as attempting to wrestle the gun away from them. If you have a trained security or somebody that you hire to do that, leave it up to them, or don't attempt anything at all. Leave that up to the police when they arrive, if that's something that they decide is necessary. Avoid any sudden movements and potentially life-threatening gestures, such as raising your hands or getting up or getting down when they're not instructing you to. Just pay attention to what they want you to do, and try to keep them in a state of not aggravation, and try to keep them as calm as possible as well. So don't stare them down. Direct eye contact with somebody that's doing that can be looked at as you are confronting them. You do want to be observant and pay attention to them and look at what they're wearing and all that, but you don't necessarily want to be staring them right in the face when they're looking at you. So take a lot of mental notes so you can tell the police or law enforcement as much as possible how many individuals were there, how tall were they, what's their hair, eye, or skin color, what kind of clothing were they wearing, do they have any distinctive features like scars, tattoos, or facial hair. All of those items are hugely important and something that you should be making mental notes of during the process. So if you see any weapons, try to memorize what they look like. Those details could help the police in their investigation as well. You'd be surprised at how easy it is to have an owner tied to a certain type or of weapon, so that could also be helpful. Observe everything that they touch. If they're putting their hands on the display cases or doorknobs or whatever, make sure that you don't wipe that off and you don't clean it. Just take a look at what they touch and make a note of it so you can alert police or law enforcement that want to look for the fingerprints that might be there. Don't pull a gun of your own if they already have a gun pointed at you. remember, they have the advantage of time and opportunity, so they could shoot you before you have a chance to shoot them. Just, you know, a lot of stores do have guns on premises for a security type purpose, but if there's already a gun pointed at you, don't pull one back at them. So the less time that they're in the store, the less risk of injury to the individuals. Once they have the merchandise, they could be expected to leave quickly. So if there is something in process going on, you would want them to get out as soon as possible. So it's best to just protect life and just comply with what they are requiring of you to do. If you are out of the robber's sight and they are unaware of your presence, keep it that way. Don't walk into a crime in progress. If they are unaware of you being there, that could threaten them or get them worried, and could risk your life or the life of the other individuals there. Once they leave, if they're leaving, don't chase or follow them out of the store. If they already have left, you can try to pay attention to what they were driving or the license plate number, but don't do it in a way where you're chasing them. If you do have a panic button in your store or a hold-up alarm, don't press it until after they leave. The police confronting the thieves while they're there could result in a hostage situation with you or the other individuals, or a shootout with the police where the innocent people would be caught in the crossfire of that. So after they leave, make sure you lock the door and call the police. That eliminates the opportunity of them to be able to re-enter or commit some other or change their mind on something that they might have wanted to do. So lock the door once they leave. Don't clean off any of the display cases or the surfaces that they could have touched. Like we said before, try to keep all of the witnesses that might have been present during the crime present until the police arrive, so the police can get their statement or get the person's contact information so the police can follow up with them later. Also, anybody that would have been around or any of the stores nearby that might have seen something suspicious, try to keep them or get their contact information and ask them questions as well. So don't talk to the media, permit cameras, or allow employees to be interviewed. You don't want any bad publicity for your store or any opportunity for further robberies or burglaries to happen. So just kind of keep it as quiet as possible. Don't start to try to get any publicity out of it. So make sure after the police report has been filed, get a copy of it so you can submit that to your insurance company, and prepare to collect all the inventory and the purchase records of everything that was in your store. That way the insurer can use that to verify the loss that you have incurred and get the proper value amounts for those items. So what we'll have is we'll have Jordan step back in here, and he's going to talk about protecting the merchandise you have from a loss, and what kind of steps that can be taken to minimize that or to completely eliminate it as a possibility.
Thank you, Aaron. So obviously this, we've been talking about what to do in an armed robbery kind of situation, right? Where in that case, it's about protecting the people more than it's about protecting the merchandise. As Aaron said, let the merchandise go out the door. Once they've got it, they're going to leave. Nobody's going to get harmed, hopefully. It's, the people are way more important. But after hours, a burglary attempt, one of the most common types of burglary is what's known as a 3-minute burglary. It's an after-hours event that results in more financial loss due to damage of the property as much as it does to stolen merchandise. And so we want to prevent them from even attempting this kind of an event. And here's some of the things you can do to do that. When a criminal looks in your store, they should see nothing of value, right? The showcases should be empty. They should be uncovered. If you cover them up, they might think, oh, they're trying to hide whatever you're keeping in the showcase. So they might try and get in there to get at whatever that is. They should be uncovered. It should be obvious to them as empty. Leave the cash register or a cash box drawer open so they can see that you put that away in the safe at night. You need to leave some lights on, just enough so that they can see that there's nothing of value, right? And also to capture an image with your security cameras should they get in there, right? So that's number one. If they see nothing of value, they're probably going to move on for somewhere else. You might consider upgrading your doors and locks. Criminals are looking for easy targets. So if you've got a more sturdy lock, a solid metal door, this kind of stuff, and your neighbor doesn't, they're going to go past you for an easier target. So that kind of stuff can really help out. Consider upgrading your showcases to make it easier for you to secure items at night. We know it can be very time-consuming to remove everything from the showcase, even the little stuff and the less expensive stuff, and put it away in the safe at night. So find a way to make that easier. If you've got a showcase where you can remove the entire tray from the bottom of it and put it in your safe or your vault, or a vault case where the contents are actually lowered down out of view and locked inside the case itself, that's going to make the workload less for you, and it's going to be easier, and you won't have that temptation just to leave a few things out tonight because I'm in a hurry and I need to get out of here, right? Another way to deter the burglary attempt, security gates or security glass. Maybe they, hopefully they won't take the time to try and smash your windows if they don't see anything of value. But if they do, and it's difficult because you're using security glass, they're probably going to move on. I know that there was a video on Facebook circulating a while back about somebody who throws a brick at the glass, and it's security glass, it's a plexiglass, and it bounces right back at them and hits them. That's what you want to happen. You don't want it to break so they can get in your place of business. And all these things, they cost money, but when you become the victim of a burglary, replacing the doors and windows and showcases and cleaning up the mess and having to close and lose the business for a day, all that is very expensive as well. And so it's a good investment to protect that stuff. Especially you want to protect the customer's items that they've left with you for repair, right? You can replace your merchandise. It's a lot harder to replace the customer's item because it may have some sentimental or important value for them, right? It may only be worth $50, but to the customer, it's worth so much more than that. Losing a customer's item, whether through a burglary or through some kind of other event, it means losing their trust, their business, and they might talk about it, so you may also be losing the business of their friends and relatives. So you want to pay special attention to that, right? Always lock up in the safe every night the things that are your customers. So I know Drew recently has done a lot of research on this topic, so he's going to talk to us a little bit about the safe you might choose and some insurance issues with your business. Drew?
Thank you, Jordan. So recently I had to purchase a new safe to keep up to date with our insurance company. We switched over to Jewelers Mutual. It's probably one of the best insurance companies out there that most people are using in the jewelry industry, and they require that you have a specific safe for how much value you're keeping in the safe. So in determining what kind of safe you need, the first thing you want to determine is what are you putting in the safe and how much dollar value does it have. You always want to make sure that you're over covered, never under covered. So when choosing a safe, they normally come in two different versions for jewelers, and it's UL and TL. The UL is Underwriter Laboratories. It just means a third party has tested the safe, tried to break into it, and it should take a certain amount of time for them to break into it. Again, this is only the third party that's breaking into it. When you have a TL safe, this is a tool-rated safe. It's a little bit more advanced than the UL, and it's just one step above. Normally, in the jewelry store industry, you're going to see basic requirements starting at a TL15. What this means is that the safe, the Underwriter's Laboratory is giving the guys that try to break into the safes are given 15 minutes to break into it, and they should not be able to penetrate any of the doors. They're allowed to use basic tools during this pre-test that they do with this safe. It goes up from there and it goes to a TL30 safe, which just means that the UL, the Underwriters Laboratories, it should not take them, or it should take them over 30 minutes to break into this safe. Again, they're only trying to gain access from the front of the door, and that's what they're using their pry bars, jigs, and carbide drill bits to get into. The next step up after that one is a TL30X6, and it's the same standards as the TL30, but the X6 on the end just signifies that the Underwriter Laboratories were able to not penetrate any of the 6 sides. So now they're not only focusing at the main front door, now they're looking at the top, the back, the sides. And most of these TLs, even the 15s, are going to have glass panels built into the wall frame. What that means is if a burglar was trying to drill through the front of the door, through the dial, it's going to hit the glass is going to shatter, and then you're going to have extra bolts that come out to secure the front door into place, just to prevent any future burglars from it. Or it's going to be a little bit more preventative of the burglar actually getting into the safe. The one after this one, after the TL30X6, we have a TRTL30X6. And what that means is now the underwriter laboratories, the guys that are trying to break into the safes, they're now allowed to use different types of torches, plasma cutters, anything that they can think of to break into this safe. There's a wide range of safes. I know that the two insurance companies in the U.S., there's Federated, they do a lot with jewelry stores. They're more about protecting the safe itself. So with their current policy, you're allowed to have any kind of safe as long as it's monitored. So it has to have a seismic sensor, which is a little sensor that you can get from your alarm company. They'll come out and they'll hook it up to your safe. And this just says if the safe receives a large shock, that's going to send a signal directly to the alarm company, and it's going to know that they should directly call the police and not even call the store owner, that someone is trying to break into this safe, that the safe received a large shock. Other switches that they put on safes are door contacts and fire alarms for the safe. So both those are directly hardwired to your alarm system, and both will go off if they are affected. So again, check with your insurance company, see what safe you want. And a Jewelers Mutual normally starts off at TL15 for their basic requirement, and they go up from there. If you want to keep any significant amount of value in the safe, or you expect your business is going to continue to grow, I'd recommend going for the bigger safe so you don't have to backtrack. Unfortunately, that's what we did last year. We had a safe that was in stock, or that we had in our store, and the new insurance company came in and said, you know, you're going to need a little bit bigger safe if you want everything to be covered. So from the beginning, I would suggest buying the primo safe that you can and falling back on a smaller one or a less pricey one if you don't see that needs it. If you see that it doesn't, if you see that the value that you're putting into it doesn't exceed your insurance company, then you can go with a smaller one. So I think that's all I have on safes. If you have any questions, please feel free to type them in.
All right, thank you, Drew. So just quickly here, you know, if a burglary does occur at your place of business, that's the time it's too late now to protect the goods, right? You've lost them, and what do you do? So we had a webinar last week on proper take-in procedures that help you have the right information so that you can file the insurance claims, contact the customers, and know exactly what it is that you lost in this kind of event. That will be up on our YouTube channel later today, and so that you can go back and review that previous webinar if you weren't able to attend that webinar there. But essentially, you need to collect certain information to protect yourself in the beginning. If a burglary does occur, you now need to locate the copies of the repair slips that you've got stored in the vault so that you know what's missing, so you can notify the insurance company, notify the customers, and do everything to protect your reputation. If you followed all these procedures, really it was something beyond your control. Customer may not see it that way, but you should also have the protection in place so that the insurance steps in and can help satisfy everyone's needs at that point. So it seems like there was a ton of information here, but there's so much more. Where can you learn more? The Jeweler Security Alliance publishes a manual of jeweler security. It's 137 pages, so it's way more than we've shared with you today. It's available to members of JSA, one copy free, additional copies are inexpensive. Even if you're not a member of the Jeweler Security Alliance, it's available for $50. We don't have any relationship with them, but there's so much good information in there that we wanted to share that with you. That's jewelersecurity.org. Look into that, and we'll help you establish some policies and procedures for your business to protect yourself and to protect the merchandise. And we talked here a lot about burglaries and robberies, crimes, but there's other ways things that can put your employees in danger and can put merchandise in danger, and those are accidents. a building fire, a flood, a crime committed by an employee, some kind of fraud, those are other things there. And so a lot of these same procedures will help protect against that. Certainly the take-in procedure is going to help you in that instance, but you should also have plans in place for what to do in the event of a fire or flood or whatever there is in your area, either whether it's an earthquake or tornadoes. You should always have a plan in place for how the employees can make sure that in the event of that, that the merchandise is secured, the customers are kept safe, and the employees are kept safe. All right, we're going to turn it back over to Aaron here to wrap things up a little bit.
Thanks, Jordan. So following these best practices will hopefully help you eliminate many potential problems and help you protect your reputation, help you protect yourself and your customers. As far as the watch repair and service community goes, customers entrust you with their timepieces and in some cases jewelry, and you have a responsibility to protect that. So following these procedures and following the procedures in the previous webinar from last week, the take-in procedures will help you to minimize that and hopefully keep a great reputation that can go along with your great reputation of service and hopefully benefit your reputation for the long run. So in a minute, we're going to address some of the questions that you might have. If you are listening online, there is a box where you can type in a question, or when we do call for questions, if you can raise your hand, and we can actually call on you for you to ask your question. So right now, Jordan, who's the Executive Director of the American Watchmakers and Clockmakers Institute, he's going to tell you a little bit more about our organization. So if you are looking for further information like this, or further webinars or other more in-depth information in the horological service community, Jordan here will explain to you what we offer.
Thank you, Aaron. As Aaron mentioned at the beginning of the presentation, I believe, our mission is to set service standards and to educate the horological community. That's why we're doing this webinar today. It's why we do these things. We want to make sure that everyone is aware of the important standards that are involved in the watch repair and clock repair businesses. Through our organization, we have a lot of things that help educate. Number one is our monthly publication, Horological Times Magazine. It's focused on the technical nature of watch and clock repair with a little bit of industry news and some news about our organization as well. It's available to our members as a part of their membership, and to anyone who's interested, they can get the subscription to the magazine for just $99 a year. It comes out 12 times. It's a beautiful full-color publication with fantastic information. If you're interested in subscribing to that, you can give us a call. You can visit our website, awci.com, click on Join, and there's an option there to purchase just a magazine subscription only. You'll also find on our webpage a list of the classes that we offer. We offer a lot of continuing education classes for both watchmakers and clockmakers, everyone from the beginner to the experienced professional, to keep them up to date on the latest information. Those classes are being offered at our facility just outside of Cincinnati, Ohio, year-round, and also through our affiliate chapters. We offer a certification program. The three of us on the call today, we all have been through that program. We hold the CW21 designation. Our 21st century certifications give employers and customers confidence to know that this individual has proven their ability to perform to the highest standards, watch repair or clock repair. If you're looking to hire somebody, we recommend that you look for somebody who has that certification. Even if you're looking to send your work out to a third party, we recommend looking for somebody who's certified as well. You can find certified individuals on our webpage at our Find a Professional link or through our Career Center, depending on what exactly it is you're looking for. Members of our organization have access to more than 10,000 technical documents to help them in the repair of watches and clocks, to our research library and our museum, as well as discounts on some of the books and training videos that we offer through our webpage. Here's just a quick screenshot of our webpage. Is a lot of great information there. We hope that you'll visit it, awci.com. You can join our organization there. You can find out details about our organization, see the list of classes, preview our magazine, subscribe to our magazine, find a job or advertise a position available for a watchmaker or clockmaker. So many good things there. We hope you'll take a look at it. And we hope that you'll also pay attention to some of our social media channels. In addition to our webpage, we're on Facebook at MyAWCI, on Instagram at American Watchmakers, on Twitter at AWC Institute, and on YouTube at AWCI. As we mentioned, the webinar we did last week will be up on our YouTube channel later today, and this one will be up next week as well for you to go back and review the things there.
Thank you, Jordan. I just want to, again, thank the sponsors of the webinar, Jules Burrell and Casper Company, watch and jewelry material and tool suppliers. And now we can open it up for questions. If any of you have any questions, type it into the chat box, or you can use the raise your hand feature and we can call on you and you can verbally ask us the question. If we don't have any questions, you can always get a hold of us at our website at the contact page, awci.com, and click on the contact tab. We all have links to our contact information on there, but then also you can look at the general institute contact information. So
I also want to mention that we do have another webinar going on next week. We're going to be talking about quality control and steps to follow before you return a watch to the customer. We hope that you'll join us next week for that. You can register for those at awci.com/webinars. And if you participate in the survey at the end of this, if you've got ideas for some topics you'd like us to cover, please let us know. We're working on putting together more webinars as well. This has been a new venture for us this month, and it's been pretty successful, and we'd like to be able to do more. So if you want a specific topic, please let us know.
All right, looks like there's no questions. I know it was a lot of information to take in, and hopefully, you guys take what's valuable and use it in your daily practices. But we'd like to thank everyone for coming out, and hopefully we see you at a future webinar. Thank you very much.